Hey there, sexy souls. Oh, I'll tell you what. Okay, I got some little, I'm gonna spray a little bit. Alrighty. Okay, so, I sprayed Florida water and held something on my tongue. Okay. How's everybody doing? Alrighty, so, put this stuff over here. Go ahead, Coffee and Tarot again, get you whatever beverage of your choice. Sit down, cozy up. Let's check in with the energies. I did do a meditation beforehand, and I was getting a lot actually, and it kind of was like a trail, but I think I figured it out. I was getting family ties. I kept hearing family, and then it was like family ties, you know, and then the word nepotism came out, and I was like, wait, what? What? Because the energy of family ties, like some interconnectedness, almost like entanglement, like enmeshment, there we go, with family and stuff like that kind of came across. And so the nepotism type of thing, you know, I was like, wait a minute, it felt like a different energy. And it was, you know, like nepotism is usually seen as having an unfair advantage because of your familial circumstances, status, things like that, right? And then I heard connections, and I'm like, what the family ties, nepotism, which didn't seem, I don't know, you know, I think the biggest thing I got from nepotism was like the negative connotation, right? Because if you really think about it, with something like nepotism, there is a sense of imprisonment, in my opinion, that comes along with that. Because from outside sources, there are expectations that are placed upon you that can feel limiting, like you're boxed in. And then also having advantages because of your family frequently means that they may feel like they have some type of authority or say, right? Like things usually have strings attached when that's the case, whether it's from your own family or from other people. And so I'm getting this sense of like, and then I was like, oh, okay, family ties. Like they're trying to describe it like feeling like you're bound some way or imprisoned some way based upon influence from familial circumstances, right? And then I heard like distancing yourself, and I got this feeling of like really trying to push away from that, not wanting that. And this feeling of family ties being the only reason you do well, but it felt like it was coming from a place of internal. Whereas like nepotism, usually society looks at it like, you know, like it's external, what other people are thinking and feeling. Rarely do we really consider what nepotism does for an individual, right? Wrapped up in that. And so I'm going down this rabbit hole, okay? I'm just waiting for more words, waiting to hear more things, feel the energies. And I get this sense of you trying to push away from family and being enmeshed with family, because I'm getting an energy that family has helped or been a factor in you being able to overcome certain circumstances in your life to a certain degree. Like sitting here and feeling like it's this strings attached type of help that dates back a long time in your life is basically what it came down to. When I really started feeling into it, piecemealing it, going through it, trying to understand it in the meditation, it was like, you know, this energy of feeling like not wanting the help, trying to distance yourself from that because it feels like the only time I ever received help was from family, and there were always strings attached, and there was no sense of freedom in that, and not really knowing what it means to receive help, assistance, you know, of any type, not just financial, but like, you know, anything that help, you know, connections, you know, and it somehow overshadowing your ability, because it was like this the overall theme, or what I kept hearing, was family ties, nepotism, which has those negative connotations and imprisoning feeling, and versus true connections, you know, like making connections. And so it's like, you know, and trying to distance yourself from that feeling of imprisonment and the history that one has because of that. Like consistent, when you from a young age receive the only form of help or assistance or support that you receive always has some form of string attached to it. You are never really truly free. You're always at the mercy of, or it can feel like you're at the mercy of and under the influence of others. That there are conditions that are always placed on help and assistance. And this feeling of like not knowing what it's like to receive help, or to receive, just to receive. Let's not even call it help, like just to receive. Like the idea that somehow you receive, and it's always got some kind of condition to it, right? And not knowing how to receive as an adult, like somehow that overshadows your ability to accept help or receive from others as an adult. Does that make sense? Or now in your life. And it's such a deep-seated, when we're talking about family ties, to me that feels very deep-seated, like it's been that way for a long time in your life. So it's really, it has been ingrained in you, and that it literally overshadows how you operate now in your life. So it feels like there is this pushback from taking and receiving under any circumstance where you feel or you perceive that there's a potential to have strings attached or conditions to something. And this I get a sense of not deprecation, a sense of like a depreciation and self-worth, because I want to say whoever this is for is used to, like primarily having some family connection that has assisted in your life. And there's this like review, I feel like a review of like, is that the only reason I've ever done well? So there's a lot of negative connotations and perceptions around receiving, where either there's conditions been placed on it, or the only real success that you've ever had was because somebody else was involved and helped you. And so somehow it overshadows your ability to receive now as an adult. That's what I'm getting. But I'm feeling a heavy, like, familial tie, meaning that it's something that has been replicated in your life from a very young age for an extended period. So whether it was actual family or just something that you saw replicated throughout your life from a very young, tender age, and then just this desire to really distance yourself from that. One, either for the sake of proving to yourself that successes come because of who you are and what the efforts that you put in, not because any kind of assistance that you get, or that just receiving in and of itself doesn't mean that you owe anybody anything, or that you are obligated, or that you have some form of ties or connections that can imprison you, that somehow others get to have a say, right? That your life is not your own because of this type of, that's the energy that I'm getting from it, guys, okay? So at the heart of it, underlying shadow work, it feels like to me, regarding receiving, and how even if you felt like you have worked through this, it still plays a factor into receiving now. Like you approach any situation, it feels like to me, with the underlying energy of having to analyze, oh, are there strings attached? Oh, what is the reason that I'm doing this? Oh, does this mean that I didn't really do it myself? Like there's a scrutiny that comes along with it that almost happens at a subconscious level. Let's put it that way. It happens so very quickly, sometimes not to someone's awareness, sometimes to your awareness. So, and this can impact receiving. Because if you have, here's the thing, if you have, they're giving me this now, if you have been in that place where that's been the case the majority of your life, and you've seen evidence of it playing out in your life for more times than not, for a longer period than not, then any source of receiving may feel that way. Like, no, I have to earn it. I have to get it myself without any ties to others, because then I owe something. And that would impact any manifestation where you are calling something into you, where spirit might have a hand in it when you're asking for assistance. That can impact your trust of spirit, that somehow, you know, and so you end up blocking your own manifestations, your own, what you're trying to call into your life. Or even any tangible, that's too many, help and assistance within your material world that you could get now as an adult. And not that independence is bad, but this level of hyper independence. And when I say hyper independence, I'm not just talking about always wanting to do it yourself, but this sense of lower sense of self, like the way that you view yourself is lessened if you achieve something with the assistance of others. In thanks of my spirit, safe and sound, all things that are lost so can be found. The path is shifting, the road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. Feeling balanced and in a place of stability. What was lost can be found. Gosh, that feels like your sense of self-worth, your sense of sovereignty. Oh, I think that's at the heart of this. A sense of sovereignty. Your life not being your own and being imprisoned by the influence of others. And you may have, whether you realize it or not, some deep-seated subconscious not affliction, abrasion. Oh, what is the word I'm looking for, Spirit? We'll just say resistance to even receiving from Spirit. Like it's going to demand something of you, or that it's going to, like, Spirit's going to say, oh, you can have this, but it has to be like this. Like you're not in total control. And if something else gets to influence, oh, I get it. If something else gets to influence what you receive in any capacity, meaning that's exerting the control issue, wanting to control situation, because if another energy at all gets a say in how something comes about, or when it comes about, or has a hand in it coming about, you feel as though it's not your own, and that you are at the mercy of the influence and authority of whatever other energy is involved. It is not your own. That's where the sense of imprisonment is coming from. And they're like, so when you're not aware of what's happening, when you're not completely involved at an intricate level with all the details, you feel as if you feel alarmed. Like, what energies or what people will get to have influence over this then? And if anybody has influence over it, you feel like it's not your own. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. The path is shifting. And because you can't see, I get a feeling like you can't see the path. And it's going to go a different direction than what you initially anticipated, and you didn't necessarily get to have a say in it. But something, you'll be able to find something when this happens. Okay, let's find out this, guys. Let's dig deep. Okay, Azathoth Tarot. Alrighty. What in the actual F? At no fucking point have I ever put anything from this deck in there. This is from the Oracle of Emanations. Are you kidding me? I haven't even pulled from that deck in like ages. And look at this. Submission, which is surrendering to something. You don't like surrendering because you feel it gives authority or influence to something else. And anytime that occurs, you feel beholden to whatever that other energy is. Like you owe something. And when you owe something in your life, you have felt imprisoned. Like something else has control then. This is impacting. No wonder they wanted Azathoth. I was like, wait a minute, what? What? Oh my gosh. Like, it's all the way over here, guys. Like, this is all the way over here. I haven't pulled this in ages. And the other day I did the, this deck, which is like the Oracle of Souls, but not the Oracle of Emanations. I pulled nothing from that. Like, I'm over here going, I am like, whoa. When that shit happens, I'm telling you. Five of Swords, you're fighting it. You are fighting this. You're fighting a shift, this change that you are not completely aware of, that you did not initiate, and that you are not the one that's in control of. High Priestess, Page of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles. I think you're focusing on all the ways that this could go wrong because of past experiences. With good reason, they just said in my head. Spirit understands. Like, this is a true leap of faith because, gosh, like, you are fearing, like, the same type of manipulation that you've experienced in the past, where help and assistance has been used as a leverage to pull you out of your own power, where someone else tries to exert control over circumstances and situations and emotionally manipulate you because, yeah, like, you're just feeling that, and it's even transferring to spirit. Like, you're just not, that deep-seated lack of trust is being transferred to spirit, and it stems from family ties. And with the High Priestess, we're really looking at, oh, they just said birthright. Something that you are meant to have. And it hasn't come in because you haven't surrendered. Surrender to you in this moment feels like defeat. Like you're handing your power over to a circumstance. You're really confused. See, Seven of Cups is still trying to figure out which cup is for you, right? Because all of these cups, while filled with something, are not necessarily in alignment with you, and you're trying to figure out what is right for you in this circumstance. I'm going to change some of this. I'm going to put these three things over here with submission. It's like submitting to it. Sorry, my feather's in the way. And then High Priestess. Sorry. I'm just trying to fit it all in there to make sure y'all get a good look at this. But High Priestess just has a knowing and follows her intuition and is willing to surrender to receiving. Not in the place of forcing, taking action, or exerting control over all aspects and details in order for something to come in right. And so to surrender to receiving, because for me, surrender is receiving. I want to remind you that you have ultimate control. There's probably no other situation or circumstance in all of existence where you have as much control as you do in the choice to surrender, because it is exactly that. To surrender to something, to be open to receive, is 100% within your control and your choice. No one else can do that for you. Otherwise, it's not surrender. And I know it says submission, but I take submission means submitting to something, allowing yourself to submit to the circumstance or situation, which is really just surrender to me. And you are over here trying to figure out which one is for you, when Spirit is going to bring in and show you what is for you. We got the Prince of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups. Seven of Cups is feeling like, no, I need to be the one to decide. So this path change feels like it's not one that you were like, it's not like you had a chance to go, yes. It's just coming to you. It's being brought to you. And your human is scared as shit. Like, this change that's happening, you're like, I didn't specifically say, and it may be an option you've looked at before, because with Seven of Cups, that's having a lot of options, but you weren't totally sold on it just yet. You didn't say absolutely. You don't feel like you made but you did in determining what it is that you wanted. Like, I feel like you have this overall energy of what you want to achieve. And like, you can envision what you want your life to be like. It is just the method or path to get you there. You haven't said 100% yes. So either you haven't seen this as an option, or you just hadn't really decided on it. You weren't 100% sold, and Spirit's like bringing it into you anyways. And it feels, because of that, that somehow it's being forced upon you. And that energy elicits old programs that, while you may have worked through, you know, it's just one thing to know something, identify it, and work through it, to begin healing it, but then to also say it no longer plagues me. The only way to do that is to walk the talk, to take what you have learned through the process of healing that and identifying it, and using that to your discernment and application within your life, right? So you've been closed off. While you may be a great manifester, it didn't appear that way because you were closed off to receiving. It makes you feel unstable. It asks you to enter into the unknown. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. Because it's taking you exactly where you wanted to be. And something tells me, you're like, but what if I don't like it? Right? Because it sounds like to me, the help that you've had before, or when other people played a factor in you getting to somewhere you wanted to go, it didn't end up being exactly, like there was always a price to pay is what it feels like. There was a price to pay. And so you would just rather find your own way there. I'll get there. And even if you don't know which way to go to get there, the notion of taking the change, taking the path when it's offered to you feels very like, oh, hell no, I've been doing this before. I know where this is going to go. But it's taking you where you want to go, to the Ten of Pentacles. You get to the Ten of Pentacles because all the old cycles, Ten of Swords, of mental anguish and anxiety are ended. Ten of Cups. An elevation in joy and happiness and contentment that gets to be shared, right? It's a joy and happiness shared between all. Ten of Wands, no longer having to carry it completely on your own. And that's what you struggle with. Because if you carry it on your own, even if it's spirit we're talking about, then you don't have to worry about anybody else getting to have a say or influence, or being beholden to anything. So Spirit's bringing something in, and it's going to take on a change that you either weren't completely sold on or hadn't seen as a potentiality. And they're saying, hey, this is going to take you exactly to what it is that you want. And I don't even think that it's like you're like necessarily an object to this, because generally speaking with the Knight of Cups, there's usually like, it's something very, it's an abundant, beautiful, sincere potential. Like it's a beautiful offer. It's just because you feel like rather than it being your choice, it's being thrust upon you is the way that it feels. And they want you to know, it says, in thanks of my spirit, safe and sound. You feel unsafe with this, but they're telling you it's safe. But the thing that's sticking out to me of all of this, it says over here, all things that are lost so can be found. And I want to know what's going to be found. What is lost and what will be found? Is it just the ability, no, I don't know, the ability to receive? Is it the knowing that you are sovereign and that surrendering isn't a prison sentence? Like, what is it? Like, that's my question. What is it that you can be found now? Your Ten of Pentacles? It might be your Ten of Pentacles. Okay, let's get a little bit more. Okay, we're going to pull some from Hermetic Tarot, and then we're going to get some more details, specifics. They just gave me, your desire to distance yourself from the family ties. This change is going to take you there. Like, I don't think that whatever this is, again, it's a beautiful offer and something that you like. I don't feel like this is coming from normal sources. You know, we've got the Prince of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles. This is being brought in. It's in integrity. This is a change, a path that's in integrity that you can trust. And I think your desire to distance yourself from this sense of imprisonment, from sources that I remember I kept feeling like you feel like the only time you ever get help is from these sources that like to hold things over your head, that like to try to and encroach on your sovereignty, that like to try and have influence somehow, like you are indebted to them, beholden to them. And it feels very familial for a lot of people. So this path feels like it's going to get you in that place where you don't have, like, this is a new source of receiving, a new path of receiving, not from what you are used to. Okay. Seven of Cups again. Illusory success. Seven of Cups. The Hierophant to the, oh gosh, to the High Priestess. Okay, come on now. Yep, help and assistance. Six of Pentacles. And then Hermit, sense of sovereignty, going your own way, following your true north. And maybe that's a problem with all of the types of help and assistance you receive before. Whatever direction you took then after that never really could be completely your own. You weren't allowed to feel still sovereign, like you're following your true north, because other influences would come and be a part of that. It's the sense that it's been ingrained again, Moon, which is the subconscious level. It's really been ingrained in you. You know, and it's funny because when it says illusory success, it's talking about having the help and assistance. It's like this facade of receiving help and assistance, when in actuality what it is it was never helpful. You paid more than you benefited from all the help you've ever received from these other sources. Which can get you to a place where you almost, in that, when you have the underlying feeling like anytime you choose something or you make forward movement, others will be able to have influence. It makes you stand there like, I don't know what is for me. I don't know. This is not even knowing if you can do it on your own. Always feeling, remember I told you, I feel like you feel somewhat like you've always had to have help with stuff. And like you didn't ever really, you can't discern what you've achieved in your life in a lot of circumstances without feeling like somebody else had a hand in it or had an influence over it. And so you don't ever give yourself full credit. Like, because these other sources of help always made you feel like you couldn't have done it without them. We're getting to the heart of this shit. So you never really understood what it meant to feel sovereign in your own energy. And the Hierophant reminds me of, like, this is like very traditional, like this sense of everything from institutions, you know, where when you get a loan or something like that, like there's always some conditions, right? But even like society's expectations of the expectation that, like, I feel like our society has really, in a lot of different countries, our world has been built on, like, if I do something for you, you owe me. And that's not true reciprocity. And that's not true giving. So this feels like a sense of being so confused in regards to all traditional methods of receiving help. And having structures set up in place for you to operate through, which never really gives you a sense of sovereignty. It's just so ingrained that you've set your life up this way so that you always anticipate, expect, and only seek out assistance from these traditional institutions of influence, family, you know, whatever else. Okay, so give us a little more about how this path is changing. This offer. I want some more on the Knight of Pentacles and their need to surrender. Tell us more about the Knight of Pentacles. The source of this, the help, the assistance. Because the help and assistance that's coming in is really just a balancing of scales. With the Six of Pentacles, it is a balancing of scales. This is bringing things into balance and into justice within your life. That's what the Six of Pentacles is, okay? It is not you owe something. It is something that's been owed to you. It is your turn. And they don't want you to enter into this feeling like you owe something. And that might be the other problem here, is that even if you take the chance and the leap of faith and allow yourself to accept it, you're going to have the internal energy like somehow you owe something to somebody else. And again, still takes away from that sovereign energy. That your success is not your own. Tell me more about the Knight of Pentacles, please. Some type of collaboration. There's that imprisonment card, guys. Imprisonment. We're going to put this person over here, the main male. Because we've got the court card here is all about, or courthouse card is all about, it's trying to come to that understanding. It's really weighing up all the facts, looking at all of the elements of something, trying to come to a decision. It's the weighing of the pros and cons, and the him and han, and the negotiations, and the trying to figure it out. Like, you know, like looking at the facts as they are. Trying to come to a conclusion, the process of trying to decide. And courtship's all about an encounter, that, you know, meeting somebody. This can be like interviews. This can be anything from encountering somebody, like a fated encounter, or, you know, just a joining of forces, really. And the court, you're trying to determine, does this feel limiting or freeing? Who's the main male? That's what you're going back and forth on. Well, they want you to know that you can expect great fortune. You've been waiting for this. You really have. And it's coming soon. It's near at hand. Who is the main male? We'll pull one more time from this, and then we'll pull from another deck. I just have a curiosity as to who this main male is. And masculine energy can be that which has the ability to bring it in, the action taker, the bearer of this. Or it can be your own masculine energy feeling like you're the one that needs to be in control of this in order to feel sovereign, right? And we've been taught, like, seriously, that's really the jux of toxic masculinity. Gender doesn't matter. We all have it. And we've all been exposed to it, and we've all experienced it, and we all have to heal through it. Okay. Sorry, I make noises, y'all. I get this feeling of, again, it's still like with the message of concern, it's always like kind of like getting information you didn't want to hear, or there's an aspect to something that you don't like. You're like, ugh. It's like a message is like, I don't really know if I like that. And so there's this feeling of still, again, because I didn't have control over it, I wasn't aware. I hadn't fully said yes to this yet, or I hadn't really considered it. So it's something different. And because it wasn't my idea, I feel as though like it's going to create a situation or circumstance where I'm owing something to somebody. Because look at this energy. Like, first off, the feminine energy, the mature woman, very wizened, almost like Queen of Pentacles, has to be in the receiving energy. The wealthy man, I feel, is the place or individual or circumstance that has the ability to bring this in, whatever this offer is. And I think that they're being very vague because that's not the important piece of this. Take a look at her face. It is like, she's looking a little like, she's almost side-eyeing, and she's like, I can't shake the feeling like, I know that they really heavily want to focus on what you're feeling in the subconscious, but I think that you will utilize your human, your logic will point to the source that you're seeing it come from and be a little hesitant as a justification, right? So why? Why? Because he's the person in the Six of Pentacles that has the ability to do this, right? And this doesn't mean that it's a person doing this for you. It could be just, like with the Hierophant, it could be, you know, the place of an institution or a place that can do this for you. The person that has the authority to offer this, or the location, place, thing that has the ability to offer this to you. Why are you side-eyeing this other than just, like, you're trying to find a legit reason to side-eye, it feels like to me. Is there something in the appearance of we're definitely getting it's a different, okay. Because it's completely different. Okay, you don't feel solidly grounded in this. It is something completely different. It's brand new to you, okay? And it's a whole brand new path. One that you're not familiar with. this is a complete echo. Brand new path, brand new beginning, fresh start, the unknown. There's a lot of unknown to this situation. And while tree in the Lenormand can be all about your health, it's also about roots and feeling grounded and stable. And there's just this sense of lack of control because of the unknown with this situation. And it stems from some conscious fears that you have had in the past because of the way that you have been raised and conditioned since a child. And feeling like there's always some kind of tie that you never really get to exercise who you are, hermit mode, follow your true north, be that complete sovereign being, right? You've always done things because of what was traditionally acceptable. You took help and assistance, and you felt obligated because that's the way that society has been structured, that you are obligated to do this because it comes from this source. You owe, versus a broader sense of receptivity. That things are given for the sake of control, not for the sake of giving. So when you have this new opportunity approach you, one that seems like you don't really know much about it, it's completely new, it's a new path, it'll take you in a different trajectory than what you were anticipating because change is beckoning, and enter into the unknown, they're saying that feeling you're getting isn't a legitimate, oh, I should be concerned. It is a deep-seated fear that you get to change. You get to move in a different way. It no longer will be able to dictate how you move, because actually listening to that fear or that old way, that ingrained, programmed way of operating is what will keep you stuck in feeling like you're not a sovereign being, in the pattern of receiving from sources where they attempt to exert control like you're obligated to them. So it's about walking the talk. You know this, you've worked through this, now you have to do it. And that feeling that you have coming up is going to be the ego worried, because at least with the expectations of others in the past that have put things onto you, you know what to expect. It's trying to throw what you've experienced in the past onto the future. You think it's because you don't know anything about it, and the truth of the matter is, I think you're perfectly, completely open to the unknown and new paths and adventures and going out and trying and the exhilaration of that. What you're feeling is you are now walking the talk. You are now making moves. You have said it is your truth, that you are a sovereign being. That you do not owe people anything. You said you wanted to distance yourself from the family ties, from those connections that make you feel less empowered, that tried to take you out of your power. It's just you moving away from that. It's new. But Spirit's asking you to surrender. The fear is not real. And this is your chance to overcome. To not just have healed it, but to now allow that to, like when you heal something, you move, you make moves in life, and you walk in life to reflect that healing. And this is your opportunity to do that. It's taking you where you wanted to go. Okay, I hope that was deep. I hope that was beneficial and finds the right people. Much love.